Harmony Creek, a town where time moved slow, a place where the hustle and bustle of the modern world seemed like a distant echo. Here life was simple, and the days were filled with the warmth of community and the charm of tradition, where everyone knew your name. And the biggest news was Mrs. Hathaway's prize-winning rhubarb pie. The town fair was the highlight of the year, a time when everyone came together to celebrate the simple joys of life.
I loved it. The rhythm of my days, the scent of yeast and sugar in my bakery, sweet surprises. Every morning I would wake up before dawn, ready to create magic with flour and butter. The bakery was more than just a business. It was a place where memories were made and shared. It was my haven, my legacy. But it was missing a vital ingredient, my brother Nathan. He had always been my partner in crime, my confidant, and my best friend. Without him, the bakery felt incomplete, like a song missing its melody.
Sophie kneaded dough, her movements mechanical, each roll, each twist, a reminder of Nathan's absence. The bakery was filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread, but to Sophie it felt empty. Every corner of the bakery echoed with memories of Nathan, from the way he used to hum while working to the playful flower fights they had. He used to love her cinnamon rolls, would sneak bites when she wasn't looking. His laughter would fill the room, making the bakery feel alive and vibrant.
He was always the mischievous one. His playful nature was infectious, and he had a way of making even the most mundane tasks fun. Whether it was sneaking extra chocolate chips into the cookies or playfully teasing Sophie, Nathan's presence was a constant source of joy.
A ghost of a smile touched her lips. The memories of Nathan brought both pain and comfort. As she continued to knead the dough, she realized that even though he was gone, his spirit lived on in every loaf of bread, every pastry, and every smile shared in the bakery. 10 years. 10 years since Nathan left for the army. 10 years of silence, save for the occasional letter, each one shorter, more distant than the last. The chair across from her at the dinner table remained empty, a constant reminder of the gaping hole in her life.
Nathan in his uniform, a boyish grin on his face, so full of hope, of dreams. The war had taken so much, had taken the brother I knew.
Sophie clutched the worn photo in her hands. The bell above the bakery door jingled. Sophie looked up, her heart skipping a beat. A man stood there, his face obscured by the shadows. Tall, broad-shouldered, a worn duffel bag slung over his shoulder. He looked vaguely familiar, yet a stranger.
"Can I help you?"
Her voice was barely a whisper. The man stepped into the light. His face, etched with lines she didn't remember, held a hesitant smile.
"Sophie?"
Her breath hitched. Those eyes, the ones that haunted her dreams, now held a mixture of pain and hope.
"Nathan?"
Nathan. Home, but different. His laughter, once boisterous, was now subdued. His eyes, once sparkling with mischief, now held a haunted look. The war had left its mark.
"I fought battles, lost friends."
His voice was flat, devoid of emotion. A defense mechanism, Sophie realized, to keep the memories at bay.
"I struggle, have nightmares, survivor's guilt."
Each word was a shard of glass piercing her heart.
Sophie yearned to reach out, to bridge the chasm that had grown between them. She remembered the days when they were inseparable, when a simple touch could convey 1,000 words. Now that connection felt tenuous, like a fragile thread that could snap at any moment. She wanted to soothe his pain, to be the balm for his wounded soul, but something held her back. It was an invisible barrier, a wall of silence and unspoken words that neither of them knew how to breach. It was him, her Nathan, yet not. The man standing before her was a stranger wearing her brother's face. His eyes, once so full of life and mischief, now held a distant, haunted look.
The war had erected a wall between them, a barrier of experiences and memories that Sophie could not cross. It was as if the Nathan she knew had been left behind on the battlefield, replaced by this shadow of a man.
She saw glimpses of the brother she loved, in the way he still reached for her cinnamon roll first, a small, comforting ritual that had survived the ravages of time and war. In the way his eyes softened when she spoke of their childhood, of the days spent playing in the fields, of the nights spent whispering secrets under the covers. Those moments were like rays of sunlight breaking through the clouds, brief but precious.
But the light in his eyes would dim, replaced by a shadow she couldn't penetrate. It was a darkness that spoke of things seen and done, of horrors that could not be shared or forgotten. It was as if a part of him was still lost on some distant battlefield, wandering among the ghosts of fallen comrades, unable to find his way back to the present. And Sophie feared she might never get him back. She feared that the brother she had known and loved was gone forever, replaced by this haunted, broken man. But she also knew that she could not give up on him. She would keep reaching out, keep trying to bridge the gap, because that was what love demanded. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The passage of time was relentless, yet it brought with it a sense of healing, a slow but steady mending of old wounds. Nathan helped at the bakery, his hands kneading dough and shaping loaves with a practiced ease. The scent of fresh bread became a familiar comfort, a reminder of simpler times. His presence, once unfamiliar, became a comfort. The bakery was more than just a place of work. It was a sanctuary where they could both find solace in the routine. They fell into a routine, a rhythm of shared silences and hesitant conversations. Each walk in the park, each quiet moment on the bench, was a step towards rebuilding their bond. Sophie found solace in their shared past. The memories they had once taken for granted now served as a bridge, connecting their present to a time when things were simpler.
She brought out their childhood photo albums, each page a portal to a different time. The photos were more than just images, they were fragments of their shared history. Pictures of them by the creek, building sandcastles, their faces smeared with ice cream. Each snapshot was a testament to the joy and innocence of their youth. Each photo a thread, weaving a bridge across the chasm that separated them. The act of flipping through the album was a journey in itself, a journey back to a time when they were inseparable.
Nathan's laughter, though tinged with sadness, filled the room. It was a sound that brought warmth and a sense of normalcy, even if just for a fleeting moment. For a moment, the shadows receded, and he was her brother again. The brother who had always been there, who had shared her joys and sorrows, the brother who loved to tease, who always had her back. In those moments, the weight of the past lifted, and they were just Nathan and Sophie, siblings bound by love and memories. One evening, while closing the bakery, Sophie found Nathan staring out the window.
"It's beautiful here," he murmured, his voice tinged with a sadness that tore at her heart.
She stood beside him. "It is," she agreed softly, "but it wasn't the same without you."
He turned to her, his eyes filled with a raw vulnerability that mirrored her own. It was the closest he had come to letting her in.
They talked, really talked, for the first time, sharing their pain, their guilt, their longing for the life they once knew.
Life in Harmony Creek resumed its gentle rhythm. Nathan, though forever changed, was finding his footing. The bakery, filled with the aroma of baking bread and shared laughter, became their sanctuary.
Sophie knew the road to healing would be long, arduous. There would be good days and bad, days when the shadows threatened to engulf him. But she would be there, a constant presence, a reminder that he was loved, that he was home.
One morning, Sophie found a new recipe on the counter.
Soldier's Surprise, it was called. A mix of dark chocolate and chili flakes. An unlikely combination reflecting Nathan's own bittersweet journey.
As she kneaded the dough, she felt a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could write a new chapter in their story. A story of love, resilience, and the enduring bond between a brother and sister. A story that, like the aroma of baking bread, promised warmth, comfort, and a future filled with hope.